The champagne glass in my hand suddenly felt like it weighed 50 pounds. Through the floor-to-ceiling windows of what my sister had called her lakefront dream home, I watched an elderly couple settle into rocking chairs on the deck, laughing as they fed ducks. My grandmother's voice echoed in my head from the phone call 2 minutes ago. "Surprise, sweetheart. I'm back from Singapore early. I drove out to check on that lakeside property I bought you 3 years ago, but there are strangers living there. They said they're your sister's in-laws." The room tilted. I gripped the windowsill as my vision tunneled on those rocking chairs, the exact spot where I'd imagined sitting someday. Finally stable, finally safe. Instead, I was standing here at my sister Ashley's housewarming party, celebrating a house I apparently owned but had never seen, wearing a dress I'd found at Goodwill because my bank account held exactly $19. My name is Olivia. I'm 28, and until 2 minutes ago, I thought I was just unlucky. This is the story of how I discovered my family had been systematically destroying my life. "Everything okay?" Ashley appeared beside me, her smile sharp as broken glass. Behind her, our parents mingled with guests, my father's booming laugh filling the room. "Grandma's back," I said quietly, watching her face. "She went to visit my lakefront house." The champagne flute slipped from Ashley's hand. She caught it at the last second, but her fingers had gone white. "Your what?" "The $1 million property Grandma bought me, the one you're apparently living in." I kept my voice level, conversational. Around us, party guests chatted, oblivious. "She's wondering why your husband's parents answered the door." Ashley's eyes darted to our parents. That flicker of panic told me everything. "I don't know what you're talking about," she said, but her voice had gone thin. "Grandma's confused. She's been overseas too long." "Jet lag, probably." "Really?" Because she seemed pretty clear when she described the address, and the elderly couple who told her this house belongs to their daughter-in-law, Ashley. My mother materialized like she had radar for trouble. "Olivia, sweetheart, keep your voice down. We have guests." "Mom," I said slowly, "did you know about this?" "Know about what?" But her smile had frozen, and a vein pulsed in her temple. "The lakefront property. The one Grandma bought for me 3 years ago." I looked between them. "The one I've apparently never lived in because I've been evicted twice and slept on friends' couches for the past 6 months." The party noise seemed distant now. My father had stopped mid-conversation across the room, his glass suspended halfway to his lips. "This isn't the time," my mother hissed. "We'll discuss it at Thanksgiving next week, as a family." "No," I said. "We'll discuss it right now. Grandma's on her way here." I pulled out my phone, hands shaking, and showed them the text I'd just sent. "Please come to Ashley's party. I think there's been a mistake about the lakefront house." I'd included Ashley's address, the same address Grandma had just described to me over the phone. "You had no right," my father said suddenly beside us, his voice low and dangerous. "Your grandmother is elderly. She gets confused. There's no need to upset her with—" "With what, Dad? The truth?" I laughed, and it sounded strange even to my ears. "That you told her I'm too mentally unstable to manage property? That you've been intercepting her letters for 3 years?" My mother's hand shot out and gripped my arm, hard. "Stop making a scene." I looked down at her fingers digging into my skin, then back at her face. "Let go." She did, but only because the doorbell rang. The party fell silent as my grandmother walked in, still wearing her travel clothes, her cane clicking against the hardwood. She wasn't alone. A man in an expensive suit followed her, carrying a leather briefcase. "Well," Grandma said, surveying the room, "isn't this cozy? My granddaughter's property filled with people celebrating while she can't afford groceries." Her gaze swept over my parents and landed on Ashley. "Shall we clear this up now, or would you prefer to wait for the police?" The man in the suit stepped forward. "I'm Robert Martinez, Mrs. Lancaster's attorney. We have documentation regarding property fraud, identity theft, and embezzlement. This seemed like the perfect time to address it." "Mom, wait!" my father started, but Grandma raised one hand. "George, I've been tracking your lies for 6 months. Sit down and be quiet, or I'll have you removed from Olivia's property." The party guests began a hurried exodus. Within minutes, only family remained, and Attorney Martinez, who was methodically arranging documents on Ashley's dining table. 3 years ago, Martinez began, Mrs. Lancaster purchased a lakefront property valued at $1.2 million. The deed was placed in Olivia Lancaster's name as a graduation gift. However, he slid a property record across the table. 6 months later, ownership was transferred to Ashley Thompson for $1. "That was a gift," Ashley said quickly. "Olivia gave it to me." "Really?" I said. "Show me my signature." Martinez produced another document. This transfer agreement bears what appears to be Olivia's signature. However, forensic analysis we commissioned last month reveals it was forged. The paper itself was manufactured in 2024. Impossible for a document supposedly signed in 2022. My mother made a small sound, like air escaping a tire. "Furthermore," Martinez continued, "we have records of systematic financial sabotage." He displayed bank statements on his tablet. Olivia's student loan payments were redirected to a hidden account. Anonymous emails were sent to prospective employers claiming she had mental health issues. Her credit applications were sabotaged from this household's IP address. I felt like I was watching this happen to someone else. The numbers on those statements, money I'd earned working 3 jobs, money I thought had vanished into loan payments. It had been stolen by my own parents. Why? The word came out broken. My father wouldn't meet my eyes. "You weren't ready for that kind of responsibility. We were protecting you." His voice dropped. "Your mother and I needed the rental income. Ashley's marriage was struggling financially. We convinced ourselves we were helping everyone." "Helping?" I laughed, and it sounded unhinged even to my ears. I was evicted. Twice. I'd been one paycheck from homeless for 3 years. While you, I turned to Ashley, while you collected $5,000 a month in rent from your in-laws, in my house. Ashley's face crumpled. "Dad said you'd never find out. He said Grandma would never come back, that we'd have time to—" "Ashley, shut up," my father roared. "Number." Grandma's voice cut like a blade. "Let her talk. Let's hear exactly how you convinced your daughter to commit fraud." "It wasn't supposed to be fraud," Ashley sobbed. "Dad said Olivia was too irresponsible, that she'd just waste it. He said if we put it in my name, we could keep it in the family, and when Olivia got her life together, we'd give it back." "And the rent you charged?" I asked quietly. "That was Kevin's idea. His parents needed a place, and the house was just sitting there, and—" She looked at me with genuine confusion. "You were never going to use it anyway." The casual cruelty of it took my breath away. In her mind, I truly didn't deserve it. "Mr. Martinez," Grandma said, "please proceed with the criminal complaints." "Wait!" My mother lurched forward. "Mom, please! We made mistakes, but this is family. You can't actually—" "I can and I will." Grandma's voice was ice. "Attorney Martinez has prepared charges for fraud, forgery, embezzlement, and identity theft. We're also pursuing civil damages for emotional distress and lost opportunities." "How much?" My father croaked. $2.3 million, plus the immediate return of the property. Ashley collapsed into a chair. "We don't have that. Kevin will divorce me. His parents will sue me for fraud." "That sounds like a personal problem," I said, surprised by how calm I felt. "When I was sleeping in my car last winter, did you worry about me?" "You slept in your car?" My mother whispered. "For 3 weeks. In February. I got pneumonia." I smiled at her shocked expression. But I guess I wasn't ready for responsibility. Martinez placed a final document on the table. Mrs. Lancaster has also revised her will. George, Sandra, and Ashley are removed entirely. Olivia is the sole heir. The silence that followed was broken only by Ashley's crying. "You have 72 hours to vacate the lakefront property," Martinez said. "All rent collected will be returned to Olivia with interest. Criminal charges will be filed Monday morning unless full restitution is made by Friday." "Mom," my father tried one more time, his voice small. "We're your family." Grandma looked at him for a long moment. "No, George, you stopped being my family when you victimized my granddaughter. Olivia is my family. You're just people I used to know." She took my hand. "Come on, sweetheart. Let's go see your house." As we walked toward the door, I heard my mother's voice, desperate. "Olivia, please, we can fix this." I didn't turn around. That was the last time I spoke to either of my parents. As we walked to her car, Grandma finally explained how she'd discovered everything. I tried calling you 6 months ago using an old number I had, she said, unlocking the doors. It went to some stranger. When I asked your parents for your current number, they gave me excuses. You'd changed it, you needed space, you were traveling. Something felt wrong. So I hired Mr. Martinez to investigate. It took him 4 months to uncover the full scope of what they'd done. The drive to the lakefront took 40 minutes. The whole way I kept expecting to wake up, to find out this was some cruel dream. But then we pulled up to a stunning modern house with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the water, and Grandma handed me a set of keys. "It's yours," she said simply. It was always yours. Inside, Ashley's belongings were everywhere. Photos on the walls, furniture I'd never seen, but I barely noticed. I walked straight to those windows, to that deck where the elderly couple had been sitting hours ago. They were gone now, having left shortly after my grandmother's visit. The deck was empty except for those 2 rocking chairs, swaying slightly in the breeze. I sat in one. It creaked under my weight, solid and real. "What happens now?" I asked Grandma. "Now?" She settled into the chair beside me. "Now you live, really live. No more sleeping in cars. No more choosing between food and rent. This is yours, and no one can take it away." It's been 18 months since that confrontation, and I'm writing this from that same deck. The view hasn't changed. The lake still sparkles. Ducks still paddle by. The sun still sets in shades of orange and pink. But everything else is different. My family couldn't make full restitution by Friday, so the criminal charges proceeded. Ashley served 18 months and was released 2 weeks ago. Kevin filed for divorce 3 months into her sentence, and it was finalized while she was still in prison. His parents did threaten to sue her for fraud, but their attorney apparently advised them they'd been complicit by paying rent they knew was questionable. They'd asked no questions when offered a lakefront home at below-market rates. They dropped the threat and moved to Arizona to live with Kevin's brother. Last I heard, Ashley is living in a studio apartment downtown, working retail. We haven't spoken. My parents declared bankruptcy. The restitution bankrupted them. They lost their house, their cars, everything. Someone told me they're renting a 1-bedroom in the same building where Ashley lives now. My mother tried calling from a friend's phone twice in the first month after the confrontation, but I recognized her voice and hung up. After that, I blocked every number associated with anyone in their circle. I wouldn't know anything else about their lives. I've made sure of that. Some people think I'm cruel. They're your family, they say. Everyone makes mistakes. But those people didn't spend 3 years thinking they were a failure while their families systematically sabotaged every opportunity. They didn't sleep in cars in February. They didn't choose between electricity and food. As for me, I turned this house into something beautiful. I started a consulting business helping fraud victims navigate legal systems. My calendar is booked 6 months out. I make more in a week than I used to make in 3 months working triple shifts. Grandma visits every weekend. We sit in these chairs and watch the sunset, making up for 3 years of stolen time. Last week, my mother sent a letter through a mutual friend, someone from my old church who didn't know the full story. She's sorry, she says. She's changed. She wants another chance. I read it once, then fed it to the fireplace. Some people deserve second chances, but some people deserve to sit in 1-bedroom apartments they can barely afford, thinking about the daughter they destroyed, wondering if she's thinking about them. I'm not. I'm too busy living in the house they tried to steal, building the life they tried to prevent, becoming the person they said I'd never be. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try audiobooks. I've got an exclusive deal with Audible. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles, 0 cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.